Main fear is if I do all this work and I do not get the desired outcome, then I have no one to point the finger at. Um, yeah, that's a good description. I think a lot of men do move like that. I'm afraid that if I give all and I get nothing in return, then that's a L. That's a complete L. I don't get anything from that. What are your thoughts on that, PD?
We had this conversation
We
not too
sure
long
did.
ago. Remember that?
We sure did.
I think that we should. I'm gonna make this simple because I'll go on a full rant on this mug. I think that we should always function in our identity, regardless of who is doing what for us, even how they're dealing with us. We should always let our faith, our Christian identity, lead us and guide us. And it should also inform us. You should know that if you run up against somebody who doesn't appreciate who you are, stop trying to make them appreciate you. But don't go into this place and be like, oh, I ain't gonna do none of that no more. I ain't gonna do none. I ain't gonna show none of this anymore. No, what you've done is you've told that person that you might be a little bit of an imposter on this area because now they can change what you said you fundamentally are. I should always be who I am, regardless of what you do, sis. Regardless of how fine you are, regardless of how you let me down and ghosted me, whatever it is, this is who I am. This is the makeup of who I am, top of my head to the soles of my feet. So I don't buy into that argument. I have to tell you, I don't. Okay.
I love that. I think a huge part of being a man and being a strong man at that, outside of course, coming back to the creator and being identified that way, is being able to say that I don't need this to go a certain way for me to move in the right character and integrity and values because this space deserves it. So like I don't need PD or Luke or Dion to act a way that is pleasing or acceptable to me in order for me to be a man of honesty, character, integrity, to move in those directions, to express appreciation, to express love, to be all of that in one place. It's really about being willing to set your temperature, dude. Like if you ask me, the guys that are out here yelling at the top of their lungs how modern women aren't about anything because all they do is this, that, and the third, it's a lot of weak men because they're, again, screaming from the pains they're having that they have yet to be healed from, and they're generalizing all people.
Here's my thing with modern day women.
Like the title of the show, Modern Women Are the Woke.
Modern women hate this broadcast because it's shining a big light and saying, you ain't all that.
Men lead, women follow. Knock her off that pedestal so she gets back down to your level and looks up to you. All right?
Because of this one individual that messed you up and you didn't want to acknowledge it, now everybody got to pay the price. Now everybody can't not be one good woman, one good man. All of them are trash. And it's crazy because like you're still out here trying to find somebody though. That's what's so contradicting about it. Because like you don't even want to be single. You want to still come out here and do your due diligence and you know, do all the seeking. So I'm just saying, I think you can't allow somebody to change your character based on the way they respond to what you give. Let's look at biblical, okay? Because that's what we're coming to. We're coming to a biblical space. 1 Corinthians 13, I shared this in this week's meeting towards the end, and it's something I've been sitting on since someone asked me like to give biblical precedence behind what it means to set your temperature. What does that look like? Is there any biblical evidence of this? 2 pieces of scripture that I've come across and I've sat with long enough to feel like it's applicable, and it implies it. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4-8. I've said this numerous of times here and how much it's done work on me. Love is patient, love is kind, doesn't envy, doesn't boast, is not proud, right? All those good descriptions. There's nowhere in that text where we read, I'm only moving in this until they do something towards me I don't like. Nowhere in this text do we read that I'm only going to move in this way if they give it to me first. You are choosing, I'm going to live this life the way Christ sees fit. And Christ has called me to live at this standard and level of love that I am always looking to progress and move forward in. So regardless of how somebody treats me, this is the love that I'm choosing to live by and I am called to live by. A love that is patient, a love that is kind, a love that doesn't envy, that doesn't boast, that it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, right? All of that. So there's number one. Number two, we look at 1 Corinthians 15:33. It's a couple chapters over. He tells us that that do not allow bad morals to corrupt good character, right? Don't let bad company corrupt good character. In order for that to not happen, you have to make a decision that I'm choosing to live by these standards, and the people that are around me that are either moving in bad character or bad morals, right? I need to separate myself. I'm choosing to live life the way God sees fit, no matter how somebody moves and what they fail to give me. This is how I'm choosing.
No matter.
Here's who's a great example of this. Jesus.
1000%.
We love him because he first loved us. That's what the scripture says. Jesus came and gave it all before we even knew his name. Can we just be honest? He gave it all before we ever knew his name. So it's like, well, who are we modeling after? Right? Even Christian men. There are people, y'all might be tripped out. Rollo Tomasi calls himself the godfather of the red pill. This dude, at the end of his Rational Male Religion book, which is a part of the series of books he's written over time, he professes to believe in the bodily resurrection of Jesus. And yet, everything he's prescribing, go look at his YouTube. Go look at all the things he's prescribing. All the things that he claims is only description. No, it's prescription. Go look at it. I would just tell you that for somebody to profess the bodily resurrection of Jesus, to believe in such, and literally every prescription you give on marriage, relationships, all these kind of things are counter opposite to what Jesus teaches, to what Jesus preaches, to the biblical worldview, we have a problem. Always. There are believers, man, who take up these positions. And I'm more coming towards that arena of saying, who are we modeling after? So if I'm choosing to set my temperature, man, even though this hurts, right? And it's not to say that the heartbreak and the separation didn't hurt. That's the problem, man. I think we got to get around to acknowledging that it hurt, because we have yet to do that for a lot of men. So it's like, well, I just kind of learned to walk with it.
But once we do that, though, Greg, I love where you're going. So let me interject here for just a second. Once we do that, though, we can't go swim in that river.
Right.
To acknowledge it, but now it can't become a part of my identity.
Right.
That's what we do. We add it as a part of our identity. I acknowledge it. Now that's how we introduce ourselves. Shoot, I wish I would let another man, whatever, whatnot. Because now we've adopted it as identity.
Yep.
Can't adopt it. We can acknowledge it, but we don't need to adopt it.
And just like that, this video has come to the end. But don't worry, your boys got more. Subscribe, like this video, share it with a friend, and definitely check out the channel to learn more about how you can build healthy, happy, whole, and biblical relationships. I'll see you over there. Peace.